with the Skeinz Diaries. It is a very steamy Monday, the 21st of November here in Napier. I'm Marie, and welcome along to episode 211. I hope you had a fantastic weekend at your place. We were all having lots of giggles here this morning when we arrived at work because a few of us, myself included myself and one other, we were in Auckland for the weekend. And if you lived in the top half of the North Island, or actually pretty much all of the North Island here in New Zealand, it was thunderstorm central across the weekend. There was storm after storm after storm. I drove home yesterday and literally was dodging and chasing thunderstorms all the way down the island. It was just utterly crazy. Hello and welcome, everybody. Come on in. So good to see you. So, yes, it was a very steamy weekend. I went up, I mentioned last week, I went up and had the weekend with Truly Myrtle herself, Libby Johnson, and we had a wonderful weekend together, just a good old girly catch up. Lots of plotting and planning and knitting and chatting and coffee and more plotting and planning and dodging thunderstorms and just generally having a good old time. Something that we've been meaning to do for a very, very long time. And the other thing we all did is we popped off to see Jordan Peterson on Saturday. So that was amazing. And we were lucky because we got just inside the arena just before the heavens opened up. But thousands that attended both Jordan Peterson and 660 in Auckland got rained on quite heavily with the crazy, insane rain and hail and everything else that went on up there. It was just super crazy. So, but it was fun. It was just lots and lots and lots of fun on the weekend. So it was quite good to get out of town and do some good stuff. And the nice thing, of course, is that, as I said, there was lots of knitting that was to be had with, as you can imagine, when Libby and I get together. It was hilarious though. I so took the wrong project. She's working on a new design for Toolbox. So she had gotten on to the point in her design that she was just doing straight stocking stitch on her project, which was fantastic. So she could just sit there and knit and gossip and chat, knit and gossip and chat. Well, of course, I'm basket weaving. So it's not too bad actually. Now look, to be fair, I did do, I'm just counting the number of rows I knit because that's where it's at in terms of what I knit. I literally did, I think, about 2 blocks. 2 blocks. That's all I got done because I was far too busy doing this. And she's like me. She's got this lovely sort of just. She's got a home like ours where it's sort of, the hearts are warm and the kettle's always on and there's dogs and children and chaos everywhere, and you walk in and it's just you kick your shoes off. And yes, so it was sort of one of those. And her dog and I are tight every time I've been there. Rat has been my BFF. So I spent half my time petting dogs instead of knitting, but I'm getting there, and it is, we are just gently ticking along. So thank you, Kathy. Kathy's just, if you're in Facebook, has just put the basket weaver link up. I cannot emphasize again how much I'm thoroughly enjoying this knit. Lib was looking at it when we were there, and actually the other thing she couldn't get over was the yarn. She had some of this yarn from her canned goodie bags, and she was telling me how her daughter is knitting some Christmas presents at the moment for her friends. And this is, I think it was the youngest daughter, she said, Tessa, and she'd gone and found this out in the stash, and she couldn't quite remember. She saw the label, she said, that's where this came from. She said, Tessa grabbed this and she's knitting a hat for friends for Christmas. And she goes, it's just fantastic. I was like, where did this come from? And it is. I'm really impressed at how cozy and squishy and lovely it is. So this and the shawl is just fantastic. Really, really fantastic. The biggest thing to remember, of course, with the roving is that it is on sale at the moment on Spotlight all this month for $4.95. The one thing that I will remind everybody of is, because obviously, I've just looked at my hair. I'm a mess. Is Black Friday sale. So this is remaining at $4.95 because it's on a month. But it is you definitely want to stash it up now, because it's not. We've already done our Stitch in Summer and our epic sale plans. It does not appear in either of those. So if you're wanting to get the sort of promotional price, now is the time, because it is definitely not going to be in those. Gosh, everyone's here this morning. Good morning. Oh, even Raylene from Essex. Oh, gosh, I bet things are starting to get a bit chilly over there now, Raylene. Yeah, so do definitely make sure you pick up some of that as well. But of course, as you probably saw, our Black Friday sale started this morning. We decided to extend it and make it a whole week as opposed to the 4 days that was initially planned. So we pulled it in and started it. And the biggest thing about our Black Friday sale is Perendale Pack-mania. We've never done Perendale on Pack-mania before, but we suddenly thought, actually now is the perfect time to do it, because it's the first time in ages that we're well stocked in Perendale, and we have all of the colours in stock. Oh, guys asking, are you planning to extend the colour range of roving? Yes, by one, Guy, in the short term. So if people really love it and get behind it, we will add more colours to the range and do it again. I hope you do, because I really love it and I want it to keep it going. We are adding the natural cream in, Guy, to the range, because I can't believe we didn't do that to begin with. It was an actual omission, and we do have some undyed base stock. So that one is going to be added into the range. Hopefully, it'll be in the new year by the time they get it through. And we're doing that for Colorwork, because we suddenly realized it's perfect for sort of Scandinavian and yoke styled Colorwork, and you really do need to have a natural cream in there, or white, a natural white in there, to do that, to get that. And we don't have it, which is like, oversight on my part, to be perfectly frank with you. So yes, so we're going to be doing that. And then if everyone, I'd like to give it one more run and potentially pop in there's a couple of other colors I wouldn't mind. Yeah, I know, Guy. Colours that are popping in there. Actually, just before I completely jump to Perendale, if you, I've mentioned this account before on Instagram, the Dragon Knitter, which is Suyan Tay, and she is based in Australia, in Queensland, and she did the beautiful Sopmatician yoked sweater a wee while ago, and she's a test knitter, full-time test knitter. She does amazing work, and she's doing a project in I know the name of the project's just gone, but she's doing a project at the moment in roving, and she has just, I think, put her first progress picture up on her page. Do go and check that out. And it was interesting because she's doing it in I think I gave her this Tiana or Tiana, which is the dark blue, with Cromwell, which is the beautiful apricot, and then we also, because it's sort of flowers through the yoke, and we actually had Golden Bay, and when she swatched it, it looks great, but then she decided, no, back to our conversation, that actually white and cream was going to look better. So she grabbed stuff out of stash that she had, which ended up being a pale pink and a white mohair, which she's sort of adding to it. And it looks incredible with that colour in the mohair. Like, it just looks so romantic and pretty and beautiful. And she's been sending me texts. Because she gives me feedback on the yarn, and she said on text how fabulous it is. And I mean, do check it out, because her photography is really good, so it gives you a good idea of what things look like knitted together. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, wow, I had never considered doing a mohair, or like either a stranded, double-stranded pearl lustre with Whisper Fine, or DK mohair, any type of mohair with the roving. It just hadn't entered my psyche, and that's what she's gone and done in this piece of colour work. And by doing that, it's added just an extra little dimension and slight texture to it, and just allowed those to sort of become quite ethereal and pop out. It really is quite beautiful. So definitely do go and check that out if you are on Instagram. I think it is, Kathy, again, if you're on Facebook, she's popped popped it there. It's definitely well worth taking a look at. And do follow that because she's going to run that project through and it'll give you an idea of how it performs. So far, she said to me, her feedback so far is she's like loving it. She's absolutely loving it. And I'm glad she is, because I know that with the basket weaver, I've been really surprised more so. I knew it was already going to be good, but it's actually performing better than I expected as well. So I'm quite delighted. Anyway, back to Perendale Pack-mania. So Black Friday, I saw Daryl's asking, is the rest of the store on the Black Friday special? No, we're actually doing specific specials this year. I know in previous years we've done a blanket amount off across the entire store for Black Friday. No, we decided to do specific deals and go deeper on those deals this year, Daryl. So that's changing it up this year. So that's what we're doing. Perendale, all 35 colours are in stock. That never happens, but all 35 colours are in stock. The mill had been doing a big stock up across the winter for us. So we thought Pack-mania, perfect time for Pack-mania on Perendale. For those, I mean, most of you know Perendale. It's one of our oldest ranges. It's one of our best sellers. This is the colour range is so vast that if you need to do DK colour work, what you need will be there. This has been a favourite with charity knitters for as long as I have been with this business. It's incredible. It's so much. It's just, it's a yarn that never disappoints. Made from 100% Perendale fibre, so it is a breed-specific yarn. It has wonderful bounce and squish. Perendale is this incredibly energetic, lively wool fibre, and that means that when you knit with it, you have this wonderful bounce and liveliness to it. And also, too, the other thing with Perendale is it's sort of got a slight luster to it, actually, in the fibre. It's just ever so slight. So what it does do is that it does jump in and means that it takes, for a non-treated yarn, and it's shrink treated or machine wash treated, it does take colour really well. So you do get these really wonderful, saturated, rich, vibrant colours on Perendale. So that's part of the reason why we get that on Perendale, is the nature of the Perendale fibre. So all Perendale in packs like that, $35 a pack. So that's $3.50 a ball, which is incredible value in anybody's money. And for the Americans that are in the crowd at the moment with the current exchange rate, that drops it back to about something like $2.75, I think. So yeah, 27. I think we're running at about 0.61 last time I checked. So it is great value. So the pack, and that's in store and online. We've already had people in store this morning. We've got a big display set up as soon as you walk through the door. So that is while stocks last on that, and we'll be running that all the way through until the end of Sunday. Joe's asking, will we be getting any more Pulse Sway in? I've got a funny feeling Sway is the one that's been discontinued, I think. Yes, there was Ripple and Sway. One we kept, one we didn't. So if it's Sway, no. And if it's not listed on there, that's the one I think we got. I think we kept Ripple and discontinued Sway in order to bring in the new colours. I'll have to double check. I'm so dreadful. I know. I forget. So that's the Perendale. So there we go. Kathy's saying, she's so good, Kathy. Kathy's saying that 35 New Zealand dollars on the packs for our Americans is $21.54 US dollars. So there you go. Oh, there we go, 1.62. There you go. Well, I wasn't far off, was I, on the exchange rate for the day? So it's good. Angela's asking, keen to do more colour work. Do you have any suggestions for the Perendale? To be honest with you, Angela, anything in colour work in DK in Perendale is a go-to. So, I mean, anything really, anything that you can do. And also have a look. Some of the patterns use the 3.75mm needle and a sport weight yarn. You can use the 375 on Perendale. It gives you a nice firm fabric, so that's a doer. Or conversely, you can go up to a 4.5 with Perendale if you want to as well. But anything, look, if I was Ethan, I'd be going, Marie Wallen, of course you want to do a Marie Wallen or an Alice Starmore pattern. Why don't you? Let's do it. But I'm not that cruel, because that's just like mean. So mean. But it's great for anything like, any of the, like, two-color pattern, Jennifer Steingass. She's got loads of stuff in DK that look really fantastic. And I actually put up a pattern which I suggested for roving. Well, I put it up and then the link didn't work, but the one that I did from the Australian Yarn Company for roving would also work in Perendale because that was a DK. So that one is works really well. So there's plenty out there that you can do, and it's loads and loads of colors. So that's the other thing. Actually, the other person that does color work that often uses a weight, go and have a look at Kate Davies Designs. She's got a lot of color work there, and one of her yarns I think is around a DK weight yarn. So should be able to substitute Perendale into that, no problem at all. And she's got some absolutely fabulous colour work, really beautiful modern twists on Scottish colour work. So definitely do check out her site, her pattern page. So that's Kate Davies Designs. She's certainly a favourite. The other yarn, which is clearing, so you need to get this fast. This is once it's gone, and I know it will all go during the sale, is the Nightfall, which was just our little one-off sparkle. You can see the sparkles there. This yarn, there's 3 colours. There's this darky one here. This one is Prague, which is the purples and greens. We've got Athens, which is the blues and greens. You can see that. Ooh, and then we've got, this was the initial one. This is Lisbon. Now, this was a fun yarn that we made up with wool and a little bit of lurex, but it's a peat of folly, I like to call it. That's 100 gram. These are 100-gram skeins that knits as a DK. It's at the finder end of DK, so DK or sport weight patterns will work for this. It's 250 meters per 100 grams. That's going out half price to clear, $4.95. I'll repeat that. $4.95 for 100 grams. So that means that if you're wanting to knit ever after cowls, which are for Christmas gifts, which I have knitted, you get easily a cowl out of one of these. That is cheap as Christmas present ever, because the pattern is free, and it actually makes a fabulous ever after cowl. And I couldn't find it. The girls can't. It's here somewhere. But I did grab this. We did get this sample knitted up, which I love. This is the Feather and Fan Shell by Mama Krista Berg, which is Stephen Berg's late mother. This was her favourite pattern in the world. She had this pattern committed to memory. And this yarn is perfect in this pattern. And does that not make a great evening summer top? It looks amazing. So this yarn is really good for those, if you're wanting to add a little bit of sparkle and shine. And that's also why I deliberately wore this today. I had to bust out the summer frocks because it's going to 26 degrees here today. But I've got a couple of these actually at this sort of length, these little, what I call my summer length Miss Janes, one of my many Miss Janes. A Miss Jane in a summer length like this for a frock or a top or an evening wear in this yarn. So Miss Jane in this yarn on a little short sleeve crop top like this, for heading out for Christmas parties or in the evenings to throw on when it's a wee bit cooler. Perfect. So perfect. And it will just give you a little bit of sparkle and look fantastic. So actually a real dream to knit. I thoroughly enjoyed knitting. That's why I knitted the cowl. I started out to do a swatch and I actually got so far up the swatch, and I thought, this is actually quite like this. So I unravelled it and cast on the cowl and literally whipped the cowl up instead. So as I said, if you're wanting to do knitted gifts and you're on a bit of a budget at the moment, this Nightfall, $4.95, will get you a full cowl. Even if you're doing Secret Santa at work and you've got a price limit on your Secret Santa, there you go, $5 Secret Santa present coming your way. So make sure you grab that because once it's gone, it's gone. If you're wanting to knit a Miss Jane like this one here, I think when I do it short sleeved in this crop style, I think for me it takes 8 balls. So you're looking at 4 of these. So that's, less than $20 for crop cutty for proper people. You probably get away with 3 if you're a lot smaller. And things like, singlet tops, like if you so many things that you could do that in. So if you're needing to hunt something out, then I would definitely get some of these. How much for the shell? Right. Well, this size here, this one used 4 Lisbons, and we got this one done. I think that a medium size. So you'd be looking at 5 for a larger size. But that's how much it was for the shell. So what I would be inclined to do is just, at $4.95, I would be getting 4 or 5 into stash, like $25, and you know that you've got a garment lot for when you're ready to knit. So yes, so I would definitely. So that's going to go quite far. We've got good numbers now, but I think it will disappear quite quickly. I think one of the colours is down to 50 skeins, and the others 2 are a wee. Actually, I think it's the Lisbon down to 50 because that was the one out first. The other 2 coming down. There we go. Miss Jane yardage 600 to 1400 meters. Yeah, and so that was, and of course that's assuming that you are doing. I've done a shorter sleeve there, and because it's a top down too, I just do the length to what I want it to be. Does Miss Jane had to give us? Well, to be fair, Vicky, the short sleeve version is because it's the sleeve starts from here. You just knit until you get to the length you want. Stop. I think the pattern is for a 3/4 sleeve down to about there. There. So basically that's the length of sleeve. So I just shorten it. I've done long sleeves, I've done short sleeves, and there's not a lot of tapering in the sleeve. So yes and no. The other thing that's on the page is about 4 pages now on the sale page with everything up there, so you have to trawl through. Is this fabulous blanket? Look at that. On a day like today, why am I pulling out blankets? I'm very color coordinated today. This incredible blanket, this is a yarn that's a cancelled export order. I am working today on getting this yarn up individually, but at the moment we've just got it in kits, and we've made up these kits. We've got a really sharp price. You can knit this blanket from the kit for $99. I know, and there is a lot of yarn in here. So this is designed to be just as a throw. It's fantastic. So I have got there they all are there. So that is them there. It's called Bloom, and it is a super chunky yarn. Knits up on around anywhere between a 9 10 millimeter needle. We've done this blanket, when I say we, the royal we, Delene has knitted this blanket on a 10 millimeter needle. The kits do not contain the needles because we never know who's got needles and who's not got needles. So the kit contains the pattern and the yarn. So you get 10 skeins of yarn, which is enough to knit the blanket, and you get the pattern. And she's popped some instructions on there if you want to make modifications to the blanket in terms of making it wider or what have you. You need a 10 millimeter interchangeable tip in either a 100 or 100, 120 or 150 centimeter cable. You want a decent sized cable to fit that sucker on. And you also need a cable needle. In the pattern, it says a 10 millimeter cable needle. In reality, you just need a big stronking cable needle. So you can use, we've got 7 millimeter pony cable needles in store. If you've got DPNs, just dig out your thickest DPN, that'll do the job. If you can knit without a cable needle, you're doing better than I am. The other thing too you can use, and I have used this before, is if you've actually just got if you use interchangeables and you've got interchangeable tips, dig out your thickest interchangeable tip. When you go to do your cable, you slip the needles, you slip the stitches that you're going to be cabling onto your cable needle and either sit them in the forward or the back of your work. Just slip them on your interchangeable with the blunt end first, or even just put it on the shorter if you've got even a fixed, actually, to be fair, even a fixed brain engage, a fixed circular needle, and then you just pull it through to the other side and do your cabling. So this is me telling you, you don't need a cable needle. If you don't have I do not want anybody going, I don't have the cable needle. Trust me, you will have something in your notions that you can cobble together to make that happen. I'm trying to save you some money here, people. So yes, so fixed interchangeable, tip, regular interchangeable, DPN, as long as it's around that long and you can stick it through something and then off the end of it, you're good. So that's what you can use. The main needle's the one that's quite important. It makes a fabulous blanket. And I know this seems crazy, me trying to flog a blanket at this time of year in this part of the world, but knitting stuff like this actually over the summer is really pleasurable. Joanne's just saying, a chopstick to cable. Actually, Joanne, a chopstick is freaking perfect. A chopstick would work beautifully. It just needs to be a smooth stick that will go through and do that. What size is the throw? I knew you were going to ask me that, Yvonne. I think it's in the dimensions in the it's actually sort of a narrow. It's sort of that. And Delene did deliberately knit all of the hanks. So she's gone and put in the instructions, if you wanted to, how to actually fatten it up and shorten it up. So that's sort of so it's what I would probably call pop over on a single bed size, but it wouldn't go over the edges or over the back of a couch sort of throw size. She has got a little instruction on how to actually add one more cable repeat here, which you can do if you wish, and then that would widen it up by one lot and then shorten it to about that much if you were to do that. So there is the ability to change those dimensions if you wish. So those are now up and available. We've got those in store as well, and as I said, I'm hoping to also get these individual skeins listed up as well. We've not done blankets like this in a kit before, but this wasn't in our plan, this yarn. It sort of materialized from the mill. So that's what we thought we would do for this time of year and put those out. And I think that it's fun. And if you've got someone who's, you want to do a special gift for someone who's a bit crafty, it is actually quite good. And the nice thing about this, as I said, you get the 10 skeins of yarn in that pack, which sort of works out at $10 a skein for these. We haven't priced, I think at the individual price, the 200 grams, the individual price on these was looking like around $16.95. So we've actually priced them really sharply because that's similar to what the Southlander price was. Nice and soft. If you're wanting to know what the handle is like, the handle I would say is equivalent to it's softer than Southlander and Perendale, and it's sort of equivalent it's because it's so thick, it's squishier than vintage. So it sits in that really it's very like what the Urban Deluxe used to be. So it sort of sits in that zone, as soft as normal wool can get before it turns into merino. So sort of chatswoody, covish, it's in there. It's actually really lovely. And because but it's not quite merino, it will actually wear quite well. We've also had a little sweater knitted up in this. It looks amazing. We popped it on Cheryl's daughter, who's teenager beauty. Lovely. It looked like $1 million. I'm going to get organised. We've got those patterns as well, and we may kit those up depending on how much we end up with. But that's what I'm working on literally as we speak. So we hope to get those out very soon. So that's the bloom. So that is coming. We've also got pom-poms. With the possum pom-poms that we've had, they're all going out at half price to clear. We're looking at moving those. So definitely jump on them because once they've gone, they are gone. And if anything crops up during the week, it may end up, and when I say crops up, it's not something that we've already got existing. It'll be if a mystery yarn turns up from the mill, trust me, it's known to happen. I'll throw that on and let you know. At this stage, hopefully not, but you never know. I noticed that Claire's just going to put my shoji out, and she stuck it in front of me. And I think she's done that because if you were interested in knitting a shoji, but the amount of yarn from a budgetary perspective put you off just a little bit, just kind of like, whoa, because there's a lot of yarn in there. This is where this would be perfect. 2 packs of this will do you shoji. So that's knitting shoji for $70. The one I knit, you could do it in this color and it would be just like it, or actually the Eureka is the other color, slightly deeper than this one. And Perendale for shoji would be absolutely amazing. The Trinnigan cardigan that I talked about from Andrea Mowry, that actually, if you're looking for the main color yarn in Perendale, perfect. You could grab a pack of that and that would do mostly actually for most sizes. I think we may even need to grab a pack plus a couple of balls, but that's another one that's ideal too. So those are a couple of sort of more large format projects that you often put off because of yarn cost and other things. Well, in that Perendale, it's utterly perfect. I've already taken some orders actually from charity knitters this morning. So if you are particularly things like Operation Cover Up or any of the Peggy Square or blanket knitting groups, if you're looking for great value yarn, definitely tell them, pass the word around at church or any of your groups, because this is on this week only. This is definitely the time to stock up on this. It's a great way to get make your dollar go further when you're doing so much good, isn't it? Awesome. It's so good to see everybody in this morning. It's been great. Thank you so much, Kathy, for all of that. She's just been popping in all of those measurements for you. Great stuff. What else have we got coming up between now and Christmas? I know Claire's been she's been sneaking in another knit pro order between now and then, and we are just there's so much going on. Always so much going on. And next year, you can imagine the things that Libby and I were hatching, plotting, scheming, and planning. So it's exciting though. It's really exciting. And we're going to try and get as much fabulous yarn to you as we possibly can and help save some money along the way. And I've just noticed, look, my little friend there in the corner. I'm going to have to pull him out. I've got a funny feeling once we get through this. Actually, this is what I'm going to tell you. Heather is building a button stand. We're looking at getting some buttons in, just a basic range of buttons. And she's out there at the moment. It's so funny. Heather is our MacGyver here in store, and she's bought all the tools in. You would think we've got a workshop out there. We've got circular saws, there's drills, there's you name it. She's having a right old time out there right now. And I walked past this morning before she arrived, and it's nearly finished. It looks so good. So I'll tell you when that's done. It's great. It'd be so good to get it done. So that stand will be in store, but we will also probably have those buttons online as well, because they're only just very, very basic acetate in certain colors, so you can basics for patterns really. So we're going to be doing that. All right, I'm going to get going so I can finish getting all of this loaded up. And the girls have been dying to get this blanket display up, and they can't because I wanted to talk about it on here. I will be back on Thursday. Hope you guys have a great rest of week, and we will catch up then. So take care. Until then, see you later. Bye.